Good morning, Chris Northrup for the Upper Deck from PinstripeChronicles. I'm here today with Lynn Kandrak. And Lynn, give a wave. Yep. And,
finally, baseball day.
Finally, baseball day. And we are here to talk all things Yankees. We bring it to you from from one fan to another, from fan perspective. Lynn, what have you got that's hot today?
Well, today we have to get to the week ahead.
Yes.
Which we will. We have just in this week coming, we have some games at home, but then we're on the road. So I want to talk about away and homes records and who we're facing, and really get into what we're projecting / predicting.
Exactly. And hopefully we can extend that, get a new winning streak going.
That's right.
Yeah, since we had the 11 in a row.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. And I wanted to mention too, although it's kind of crazy to do it while we're filming this, but at 11:30, there's a Sunday game this week on Peacock, right? Do you remember hearing about that?
No.
Okay, well, I forget who's playing, but anyway, baseball is all over the airwaves, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I think the Yankee game this afternoon is on Prime, I think.
No way. I didn't even know that.
I think. Just check me on it. But anyway, it's annoying. I don't know. Have you been annoyed by this?
Completely. And so far, we've only experienced this once.
Right.
When it was a first Friday night prime.
Yeah.
And I think, the only other options were MLB TV, which you had to subscribe to even do that. I had it just old school John and Susan it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm kind of protesting this.
Yeah.
To spend money on all of these different platforms just for baseball. Excuse me. I already pay extra for my subscription to Yes. And they took away our local channel, PIX, at least me. And so they're kind of holding the games hostage. And I know it's the new way. And Chris, unfortunately, it's probably something we're going to have to it's the show me this with, and if you don't have it, sorry.
Right.
But I think it's time for people like you and me.
We need to rant. We got to rant to the right people. I don't know if it will make any difference, but I mean, I couldn't watch the game on Prime, and I have a membership because it was blacked out. It was
right.
I live in Connecticut, and the game was blacked out in my area.
Well, I have Prime too, but I think when I investigated it, there's an extra cost for Prime Video now. Like, it's a subscription within the subscription.
Okay.
Unless I was doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Which is very possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Rant. We got to get, we can't let them get away with this.
No, there has to be options, free, accessible options.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm with you, sister.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that was really going right for the Yankees during this 11-game winning streak was the pitching. And I think we've been highlighting this on our show for a couple of weeks now, but now we're 5 weeks in. Each starting pitcher has been 5 times through, because we're in the 25th game of the season, today will be the 26th. And the results of that have really been eye-opening.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that really just also reflects not just the starters, but the bullpen.
Yes.
And I was listening to Toe the Slab episode this week, and Coney spent some time talking about exactly that, how good it is to see the Yankees stacked both sides of the pitching.
Yes.
He broke it down and even talked about who are also closers in addition to Chapman.
Right.
And Chris, you'll be happy to know that he was, he learned from what we said previously. He was solid with King being that, early game long haul guy, and also solid with us on, Loizaga, Greeny, and not so much, and Holmes, yeah. So, and he also had, stuff to say about Schmidt being sent down, and how that was a surprise to him.
Yeah.
And that he, he's certain that that's going to, change. But of course, it's going to become about the number of options, which I think is 5.
Right. Wow.
So
he'll be back.
Have to he'll be back until they run out of options, and so they're going to have to wisely.
And I think one of the biggest surprise at this stage in the season is that Nestor Cortes is at the top of the Yankee starting pitchers. He's got a 1.82 ERA in 24.2 innings pitched, and a 0.7 FWAR. So he's at the top, followed by Jameson Taillon, Jordan Montgomery, Garrett Cole, and Luis Severino. It's not what you would expect. I wouldn't have expected Taillon to be in the second spot either.
No.
It's upside down.
It really is. And, it's not what you expect, but to say the opposite of Joe Girardi is what you want in some ways. Because I'm so pro Nestor. I know you are too. And what he brings, he's very ace-like. He, is the unofficial ace of the moment.
I agree.
Not just statistically, but because of what else he brings to the mound with him.
Right.
And I don't know if it's the apples he's eating every single game, that there's now an account named Nestor Cortez's Apple on Twitter. But in all seriousness, when you look across the rotation in terms of approach mentally, and strategically, nothing bugs Nestor. Even when he got into that mess a few times, his last game was not that great.
No, he did not have his best stuff.
He really didn't, and he found himself in situations that we're not used to seeing him in. But he still doesn't get in his head. Yeah. And he got himself out of some of them, but that's what you need on the mound. And I know it's easier for some than others, but
right.
I think that might be a big difference in why he's top of the ladder right now.
Yeah.
Because of that, what he brings mentally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Yankee pitchers have thrown the most pitches at least 95 miles per hour this season. Only the Brewers are within even 100 of them. So they're hard throwing. 10 Yankee pitchers have thrown at least 20 pitches, 95 plus so far this season.
Do we get who they are, or do you know?
I don't know. I picked this up in my infinite readings as I was preparing for the show today, and I don't know. But, I mean, if I had to guess, I would say, Cole, Severino. I don't imagine Taillon or Montgomery. But I bet Monty can hit 95. There's no
right.
But that's not the key, really, to what Monty is.
We know it's not Nestor. Nestor has maybe hit 95.
Yeah.
Less than 5 times.
Yeah.
Just not his thing.
But the strength of the 2022 Yankees lies in the number of hard-throwing arms that Boone has in the bullpen, which they may be included in that. In those numbers. Yeah. Michael King and Clay Holmes have combined to allow 2 earned runs in 31 innings. So we're just cooking on all, operating on all cylinders in the bullpen. Yeah.
It's astounding because, I don't remember ever seeing that in recent years for sure. We really have a treasure trove, and we haven't had a treasure trove since the Dream Team, as far as I'm concerned. So this is big for us.
It's big. The Yankee bullpen leads the league with a 2.30 ERA and ranks in the top 10 in strikeouts per 9 innings. So they're going up the leaderboard, so to speak. They're improving their numbers and definitely representing the Yankees on the leaderboards at the moment.
Yeah, they're across the whole MLB, the whole league.
Right, exactly. And Chapman has surprised again. He must have 9 lives.
Yeah, and he must have heard us.
Yeah.
Maybe he reached Twitter. Who knows? But he's proving our doubts wrong as of now.
Yeah.
So that's been good to see. This is a case where I'd love to be wrong.
Yeah, me too.
And maybe he got things worked out. The proof is still in the pudding. But yeah, so far he's been absolutely what you want to see.
Yeah.
In the 9th inning. So he's doing his job.
Yep, that's right. And even though every time he's out there, I'm biting my nails, he is getting the job done at this point, and that's encouraging.
Yeah.
Because Green has also, not been at the top of his game yet either.
Right.
So he's blown a few opportunities.
We're really of the same mind this morning. Yeah. So I apologize for that. No one wants to be in my head, but that's exactly what was flashing in my mind is Greeny. And, he's kind of always had his little bouts of inconsistency.
Yeah.
But I think we've seen more of that sequentially so far this season.
Yeah.
So it might be unfair because he's in to relieve, but I agree.
Yeah.
He has to get himself together.
He does. He comes in high leverage situations, and we need him to be that man.
Right.
And sometimes he is, and sometimes he isn't. So if there's any inconsistency in the bullpen, he's one of them.
Right. And it's going to tire King out more and more because, in terms of mid-game, he's the man.
Yep.
With no one else to turn to with great faith, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's our Adam Warren at the moment. The role Adam Warren used to play, the long man in there.
Yeah.
I read an interesting article today, this morning by David Salvatore for Fansided. And it was called "Against All Odds, Can the New York Yankees Be Defused?" And I thought that we could, both of us, for a moment, just bask in the glory of the Yankees being the Yankees right now, being at the top of the heap.
That is even in a headline.
Yeah.
Is am I dreaming?
Yeah.
First of all, the answer is no. And so, but that it's a question, and right now it is no. However, no one's unstoppable.
Right.
In fact, I forget who to Anthony Rizzo. Read a quote from him that really struck me this morning. Yeah, he said April is, for us to build, toward April is the time to make advances towards the playoffs, to the, playoffs. The rest of the year is to lose it.
Yeah, that's interesting. And he's been there, knows that, been there, done that.
Right. And I thought, and I didn't just quote it perfectly.
Right.
Because caffeine. But the message is so on point with what half of us are always saying. Like, You cannot be complacent.
No.
No,
And,
you can't ride the tide of April.
Exactly. And even though the Yankees are riding high right now, and one of the reasons they are, I mean, is the starting pitching in the bullpen, but also is the work of Aaron Judge this season. The man has come out, it seems to me, blazing to get the season started. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, he's 2017 Aaron Judge to me.
Okay.
One who was robbed of Rookie of the Year, and also he's showing that he's well aware that he's auditioning.
Yep, that's right.
And I somewhat cynically tweeted this week, preparing to be ratioed, and I wasn't. So either I was automatically fifth or what. But I find it interesting that he has woken up alive after being the sleeping giant the past two seasons.
Right.
And is it because he's, he was lackadaisical because nothing, in it for me right now. And now it's like Yankees didn't pony up. Right. And now I need to think about October and what I'm going to get.
Right.
All of a sudden, we're seeing the magic.
Oh, yeah. And
so why weren't we last season, and why are we now?
Yep. And this Saluturo said, Judge made the most significant gamble of his career. He bet on himself. Judge was offered a 7-year contract extension for $30.5 million. That would have kept him in a Yankees uniform for the bulk of his career. He turned it down, believing that with a great season, even greater riches await him. So if that is the mindset and that is what motivates Judge, then I hope that the Yankees will be motivated to meet his asking price when it soars after a season where he's performing like this.
Right. And if that's what is motivating him, and I think we could safely presume it is, then will we see it after that the deal is signed?
Right.
Because he'll be locked in.
Yeah.
Like he was last season.
Yeah.
He had nothing to gain or lose. So
right.
Other than for his team. So and he's had it all along. It's not not like DJ last season, for example. Anyway, and I am pro Judge. I still, think he is, he's icon. He has been an icon, not just because of fan popularity, but he is good for the team. He is that guy. He's great, as we also saw this week. He's great for the Yankee image, which is worth money, as well. And the Yankees need to consider that.
Absolutely.
Because that's with the kid in Toronto, which melts hearts everywhere.
Yes.
And Judge, doing what he did in the dugout with him. And, I could get really soft about it right now.
No.
So.
It's incredible.
We need more of that. It's like, Gehrig hitting the home run for the kid in the hospital.
Right.
Exactly. Thing. Yeah.
And Judge's numbers bear out the success he's having. Yeah. He's got 9 home runs on the season, which is tied for first with Rizzo, Cron, and Buxton. He's not up there alone, but he's on the leaderboard. He is 7th in on-base percentage and slugging, and his WAR is 1.6. He's not on the leaderboard with that, but he's leading, the team in that category. He's currently 6th on the leaderboard in slugging percentage. So he is climbing up the leaderboard as fast as maybe he can right now. If he continues to play this way, he could have 60 home runs this season. I don't know. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, if you rely on projections based on what we've seen so far,
right?
Absolutely, that's possible. He needs to stay healthy, and just really grind the rest of the season. And he's built for it right now. He is strong as a horse.
Yeah.
He's hitting, things to the moon. High velocity, high reach. So clearly I'm rooting for him. He's good for the team, and he's doing his job.
Yeah.
And I hope we get to keep him.
I absolutely do. And I heard on The Compound this week, which is a podcast that's done by Ian Happ, and two of his buddies from the minor leagues, actually. But he said that Judge was absolutely doing the best thing he could do and betting on himself. And I think players are out there maybe have a similar sentiment, because it's hard not to root for him right now. I mean, whoever you might be.
That's right, because he's so damn likable too.
Yeah.
And also, he's the guy that I don't get mad at for just relying on the power swing.
No.
And I know, on our past episodes, I've griped about Gallo, who puts it right out there that's his contribution to his team. Yeah. So basically, we're not supposed to expect anything else out of him, which I'd be all for if it was right, if it happened.
Yes.
With Judge, I fully support it.
Yeah.
Because, you're looking at his numbers and his on-base percentage, his home runs and his hits, and when he does, not hit out of the park, it's usually multi-base.
Yeah.
I don't have the exact stats on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that.
Yeah.
And the 2 spot was a lock-in, and we're reaping the benefits of him being second. And, it's a surprise that it's neck and neck with Rizzo right now.
Yeah.
That's good, because I think that's going to add more fire to Judge's belly.
I think so too. And I mean, I think that a little home run competition is probably good for both players.
Right.
Good motivation for both of them.
Yeah, and you got to wonder, is Judge going to do the home run derby this year?
Right, you got to wonder.
I bet it's part of the audition plan.
It's interesting that with, as this writer points out, the Yankees, the strong start that they're having to the season, where we're already, I thought I wrote it down, what our record was already. But anyway, whatever, where we're already a couple games up in the AL East.
Yep, I could tell you we're
right.
We're a game and a half ahead of the Rays.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I should have written it down, but I didn't. And so it's I stopped crying about wanting the fact that we didn't get Seager or Correa or Story. How do you feel about that now that we've seen Isaiah Kiner-Falefa for 25 games?
Well, we whined based on what we knew at the time.
Right.
And we can't give Cashman the Genius Trophy unless he's also a psychic medium and knew that this is how Kiner-Falefa would do, right. and that the Correas and the Stories wouldn't be so stellar, at least from what we've seen so far.
Right.
I don't have the exact numbers on me.
Well, I do, and we can look at them. They're interesting.
Yeah. What? So tell me, that awesome?
I think it's interesting. Isaiah, obviously IKF as we call him, he's batting .295 for one thing. Which I think anyone would find astonishing and no one would have predicted. Right. He has no home runs at this point, but that's not what he's up here for.
That's right.
Yeah, I wish I had his stolen bases because he's fast. He's been stealing, getting hits, getting on, and stealing bases, making things happen on the base pads.
That's right.
Yeah, and his WAR is 0.7. Carlos Correa, on the other hand, he's batting .255, Story .212, And the only one, Seager, is batting 258. So he's probably the next, highest, second to Isaiah, to IKF right now. And it's just astonishing.
Shot in Frida is delicious in the morning, isn't it?
Yes.
And I'm perfectly fine and more than fine with IKF's that he has no home runs, because just as much as I said about Judge,
right.
It's the same. It's the same level of contribution to the team because of the reasons you just stated.
Yep.
And we don't see enough value in our players for the small ball, and he was a great addition for that.
And that has to be, the small ball has to be part of what's making the team really roll right now, is the combination of the power and the small ball. It's like the formula's working. There's a formula and it's working right now.
That's right. And that has to be part of the reason why our numbers look the way they look.
Right.
And again, I always say proof is in the pudding. We'll see if those numbers sustain. But it just, when we say pride, power, pinstripes, we need to think of power as both. Power is not just about that swing that, shatters the windows in the apartment building across the stadium.
Right.
The power of the people that get on base.
Right.
Do something with it.
Yeah.
And bring others in.
Yeah.
So that our RISP isn't the disgrace it's been for the past,
Exactly right. And Kiner Falefa has been as advertised defensively. His 3 defensive runs saved are more than the big 5 so far. So he's, again, he's done everything the Yankees didn't even dream he'd do, probably. And I found John Hyman had an interesting article about IKF. And one of the things he said about Correa, which I thought was fascinating, is that Correa appeared to badly want to be a Yankee if things couldn't work out with his home team in Houston. The Yankees were said to love him as a player, but he had 3 enormous strikes against him. One was the Astros scandal, of course. The second one was, and this one surprised me, his close friendship with A-Rod. And the third one was his ill-timed, ill-conceived comments about Derek Jeter.
Well.
But I didn't realize that he and A-Rod were such good friends and that would damn him in the eyes of the Yankees.
Well, but what I'd say to that is, and no real disrespect to John Hyman.
Yeah.
But he's not always the most accurate with what he's saying. And so some of it could be fodder because I'm with you. This I don't see Cashman having the time or appetite for caring about the friendship dynamic among players.
Right.
He didn't care about it, bringing Donaldson in, with Cole there.
Right.
And so that just is an automatic discount for me. Jeter's gone. And so, I don't even think Jeter is they're not protecting Jeter's legacy. Jeter already has his legacy. Exactly. He's enshrined in Cooperstown, for God's sake. So on that.
Right.
And if the Astros thing for real, then what is Marwin Gonzalez doing here?
Exactly. Or what is the Gonzalez doing here? Right. He seems to be, we've forgotten about everything with him.
That's right. And we welcomed him with open arms. I think even as fans, we've forgotten that he was named a lot in that whole thing as one of the leaders of it.
Yeah.
No, sorry, John. I think it was about the money. And
I think it was about the money, but John was saying that the Yankees got the best deal. That
yes,
IKF was the right
and
answer for
yeah,
it.
and I agree with that because we're seeing that in fact.
Yeah,
And so all I was pointing out is he tends to add some hyperbole in there that
yeah,
he can't be fact confirmed, and
I
just seem
know.
opinion and washer room gossip. But
Yeah, but it does make Cashman look again like a genius. And I
yeah,
mean, I spent the whole off season crying and screaming, Hal, sell the team, Hal. If you can't bring in the guys we want, and yet every day now I'm sitting here cheering on IKF as he gets that hit, steals second, and etc. Scores, on a Judge double. So
right.
all things happen for a reason.
I don't know when I would ever say that he's a genius, but
Yeah,
I think he got lucky. I think he rolled the dice, which smart leaders do when they have to or feel that
right.
they have to. And he's reaping the benefits now
Right.
on May 8th.
I
As of
mean, it's just too bad that Correa's numbers aren't as good. It's just too bad. And now he's injured. He's injured his finger, although he's not on the IL. So see, we lucked out. He's already injured.
right, yeah, and there was no way of psychically predicting that.
Right.
Just like we couldn't predict, and I don't know how he's doing lately, but oh no, Voight is blasting things off, and but
Yeah,
nobody
Boyd has fallen off the radar lately. I haven't seen nothing about him.
might be a reason for that.
Yeah, but I did see where Gary Sanchez is getting a chance to DH more because who's the DH in the Twins? Is Nelson Cruz still there, or is that like ancient history? But anyway, apparently that person is injured or something, and Gary's going to be stepping up the DH duties. So more power to him.
Big opportunity for him.
Big opportunity for him. I hope he's up to it.
I want to see him. I want to see him succeed.
Yeah, I would like to see.
We're playing them.
Exactly. Well, what's coming up for us next week, Lynn?
So as of today, here's what we have coming up. After 2 days of twiddling our thumbs, it's pathetic that we don't know what to do when the weather doesn't cooperate.
I know. I found myself watching The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb.
Oh, that's bad. Well, I watched it on Bravo, and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Trainwreck TV, because yeah. So we're actually getting to start our 3-game series with the Rangers today. And so today is the doubleheader. And so first I'll start with today's matchup because we don't know what the next 2 games will bring. But today it's Cole against right-hander Dane Dunning for the Rangers. And I think you already mentioned, Chris, that Cole is at a straight up 3 ERA.
Yeah.
And he's against the right-hander Dunning, who currently has a 3.81 ERA. And so statistically, it seems like Cole has the upper hand, no pun intended. He's reunited with Higgy today, so it'll be interesting to see if that's helpful to Cole, since we've seen more of him pitching to oh gosh, I see him.
Trevino?
Yeah. I have to do it once an episode. So I'm glad to live up to it. I think it's Gallo out in left today, which means Stanton is DHing. And speaking of Stanton, it's time for him to get something out of the park. So hopefully today will be it.
Yeah.
he has been a little bit lukewarm, but never have to really worry about him. And then
the thing about Stanton to me is he's streakier than I thought he would be.
Yeah,
he's not as consistent as I thought when he came over here that he would be, being an MVP. And is that harsh? I don't know. I'm not the biggest Stanton fan, but I did buy a Stanton t-shirt. I'm trying to get better at it, at Stanton worship. But.
Yeah, but I think it's fair based on what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, he just needs to warm up a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. And I think now that he's playing on the field a little bit more, I think that's helping and will continue to help. And he hasn't really been bad out there either. So, and in terms of the overall matchup against the Rangers, again, we don't want to be complacent, but in the AL West, they're in 4th place with a team average of .417. They're 5.5 games back at the moment. But, they're in the same division as the Angels and the Astros. And the Mariners are, the next one on top of the Rangers there.
The Mariners are having surprising success.
Yes. And their away ratio right now is they've won 6 and lost 5. So pretty odds are even there.
Yeah.
But then again, at home, because of their low, they're only batting .417 as a team. At home, it's 4 wins and 9 losses. So I guess we look forward to seeing them on the road soon.
Right.
And then, right after this series, and by the way, all 3 pitchers we're facing from the Rangers are right-handers. I'll just quickly mention who they are. Okay. The next one after Dunning is Glenn Otto. And so he's a righty too, and with a 2.89 ERA. And then after him is former Yankee John Gray.
Okay.
Who's currently at a 7.50 ERA. So depending on, what our rotation plays out, which I know is a little bit up in the air. Right. Either way, whoever he faces, tomorrow's game should be in, hopefully a little bit of a gimme. Hopefully all 3 are.
Right.
Then we have 2 games with Toronto. Don't really know anything about that yet. And then we face the White Sox away.
Okay.
And White Sox at home, they're almost evenly split for their wins at home. 7 wins and 8 losses.
Right.
And they're just reaching 500 as a team.
Yeah.
So, we have the edge over all of them, and we'll just have to see how it plays out. They're second in the Central, the White Sox are, but look who's in the Central.
Yeah.
So it's more so about probably who they're, who else is there with them that they are where they are. They're 3 games behind the Twins.
Yeah.
So that's the week ahead, for the most part, and it's looking good. What do you expect to see out of Cole today, Chris?
Well, Cole has been trending up, so I expect another excellent performance, building on the last one. I'd love to see 9 strikeouts. I almost said double digits because I'm hopeful, but I think we continue to see Cole ramping it up.
I hope so, and I hope to see more innings out of him. Well,
yeah,
which really is about starting off well. If he can get a first and second inning that he's happy with, then maybe we could get him further in the game, because we know he can.
Yeah,
he just shuts down a bit, it seems. Yeah. So it's the same. I mean, on paper, and what we've seen recently, I'm right there with you. And let's see if Higgy has the edge.
Right. Let's see
That's
if
a factor.
what Higgy's got today.
Yeah.
It's really been interesting to me to see Cole relinquish that pitching to Higgy thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it really must have been personal with Sanchez. And not personal, like he didn't like him as a human
the
being.
style difference,
Right. His catching style just was not. Cole was having none of that.
Yeah, Cole probably doesn't appreciate pass balls and
right
that kind of thing.
Right, that kind of thing.
How like of him, and I think he's doing just fine with Trevino, and so maybe that's why.
Right.
Maybe he was ready to protest, and so far, pretty, equal, I guess, in terms of what he's getting from both of them. But we'll see what happens with the reunion today.
Yeah.
My biggest worry is, Cole has had a 2-day delay.
Yeah.
And, if he couldn't handle the national anthem
right.
or the 30-minute delay, what will 2 days do for him?
I know. You're exactly, you're correct. You're right.
I hope I'm kidding. I hope I'm kidding.
You're right to wonder because he is a diva.
And let's face it, I'm snarky.
And let's face it, he's our diva, if he is one, so.
Yeah, bless him.
Yeah.
Well,
so it looks, we've missed out on from Friday, Saturday's games. Looking forward to the doubleheader today. It's Mother's Day. It's like a gift to me from the Yankees. I really appreciate that. I'm pretty tapped out. I don't have a lot more to go on here. I don't know about you, Lynn. Do you have some final thoughts or?
Final thoughts are just let's keep the momentum going. Yep. Let's stay grinding and just one game after the next, one inning at a time with the same exact level of grit and grind.
Yes.
Because tomorrow isn't promised. And if tomorrow isn't promised, October isn't for sure. So so that's my final thought there. It'll be my final thought until October, probably.
Hear, hear. That's a very strong final thought, and I can't even imagine adding to it. So on that note, I'll just say, go Yankees, and like, subscribe, comment.
Yes, and don't forget, every week you have a reserved seat with Chris and me on the upper deck. Have a great week, everybody, and go Yankees.
Yep.